Hi, I'm Nathan Kaufman. I'm a New York City tour guide, and I'm here to show you some of my favorite aspects of this great city. Today, we're talking about water. Now, water might not be the first thing one thinks about when regarding New York City, but water has dictated some very iconic aspects of this great city. First of all, the shape. Manhattan is an island, so is Staten Island, obviously, but the other three boroughs, the Bronx, Queens, Brooklyn, they all share borders with water too. Then there's the landscape bodies of water, like the lake in Central Park or Prospect Lake in Brooklyn. New York City is saturated in water. But here's something you might not know. New York City has some of the cleanest tap water in the country. Ask any New Yorker and they'll tell you how great our water is. When you come to visit New York, don't hesitate to drink right out of the tap. The purification of our water system, we could say, started back in the 1830s. Throughout the 19th century, as population grew, it became more and more difficult to gain access to clean water. Most drinking water came from wells, cisterns, or natural springs, and without proper plumbing, New York City's waste started mixing with our drinking water, and needless to say, disease like yellow fever and cholera spread. The city knew it needed to do something. We needed to bring the water to us. Hence the creation of the Croton Aqueduct. Beginning 71 miles north and continuing all the way down here to a receiving reservoir, which is now the site of the Great Lawn and Turtle Pond here in Central Park, then down into a distributing reservoir that was located here, where the New York Public Library is today. Can you imagine giant fortified walls holding in New York City's water supply right here? So after 5 years, the Croton Aqueduct was completed in 1842, and the party was held here in City Hall Park. A great celebration was thrown and water was shot up 50 feet into the air. Very impressive back in the day. Now, since then, major advancements have been made in water purification and distribution, but the original Croton Aqueduct was used until 1955, and it's honored here with the Croton Fountain. This same aqueduct system, created all the way back in the mid-19th century, dictates another iconic aspect of the New York City skyline, our water tanks. Now, the Croton Aqueduct drops 13 inches every mile for 71 miles. Now, that's enough natural water pressure to bring water up about 60 feet, which is approximately 6 floors of a building. So most of New York's older residential buildings will stop at 6 floors. But New York obviously has much taller buildings than that now, and we do have the technology to distribute water in different ways, but nothing is as efficient as the tank. They're built like a whiskey barrel. They use cedar to help insulate during the winter. They also don't paint the wood to stop any tainting of the drinking water. It gives it this kind of old world look, though they are still very much in use today. Water pressure pushes out and the steel bands hold it together, so there's also no adhesives used. A small pump brings the water up, and gravity does the rest of the work. These water tanks are a point of pride here in New York because they definitely shape our skyline. But some buildings don't want big water tanks on their roofs, so they cover them up with some very ornate architectural structures. So as you explore the city, you can find our water tanks, but also some pretty clever ways to cover them up. Another iconic aspect that's created from New York City's water is our steam. Throughout the city, you can find steam creeping up out of the streets. And sometimes it gets so thick they need to put temporary chimneys up to get that steam away from traffic. Since 1882, the city has been using steam pipes to heat, cool, and power a number of high-rise buildings. And when you see steam leaking up onto the streets, it's either due to a leak, runoff, or just cold water being placed onto hot steam pipes to allow for them to be cooled off. They can smell a little funky, but they're not bad for you. And finally, my favorite aspect of New York City water, how it affects dough. New York has its staple cuisines. Hot dogs, cheesecake, big old deli sandwiches, just to name a few. But pizza and bagels might be what people think of first. A bagel or a pizza could be made anywhere on Earth using the exact same ingredients with the exact same technique, and it still wouldn't taste the same as if it had been made here in New York City. The reason why? Our water. New York City water contains the near-perfect amounts of calcium and other dissolved minerals that allow for a process called the calcium ion effect, which strengthens wheat proteins and gives bread products that chewy nature that New Yorkers have grown accustomed to. A testament to New York City water's baking power are the numerous restaurants throughout the country that use our water to bake with. A very smart move. Well, I hope you've enjoyed this exploration of New York City's water. I'm Nathan Kaufman, and I'll see you next time.